Hello there. So we're going to do a little test video, find out which one of my little stoves is the best. Portability, fuel type, availability of fuel, and how long it takes to boil a pot of water. So we got a few that we're going to go over in a second, and I think it's going to be a pretty fun video. So to start this off, got a pot of water. That's going to be our test. Everyone's getting the same amount of water. Infrared thermometer. They'll tell us matches. Start the fire. So first one is we're going to do a bit of overview of each of them. And this is the Coleman single burner propane stove. It model, I believe it's model 5431B. I got this one for Christmas this year. It's brand new. It came with just the burner here and the stabilizer for the tank, which is always important to have those. So we're going to put this all together. There we go. Alright, that's it assembled. It's kind of tall, unfortunately, so we'll go over that later. Let's see. There we go. Now let's see. Lit pretty easy. I mean, it's brand new, no issues. Let's see how hot it's getting right now. I think I have it on the highest setting possible. We're about 230. It's climbing. It's about 400, so we're going to set this on here and let's get our timer going to boiling. I mean, it's pretty nice. It can hold a pretty good sized pot. We're going to do scale of 1 to 10 on everything. So we're going to give it let's give it a 4 on portability. Let's give it a 4. I mean, it is very portable, easily takes apart, and it's 3 major pieces. So it is very portable, but it's not as portable as the rest of what I have. So it gets a 4. Not a big deal. A lot of people like using these with their camp in proximity to their 2-burner stoves, just because they can set this to the side and cook coffee on it and cook breakfast on the 2-burner. So we're at about a minute here, trying to hit 220 degrees. We're at 111 there. So took 3 minutes and 35 seconds to boil a pot of water. Pretty quick, I guess. Let it cool down. We're going to move on to the next one. So next one is a little pocket stove I have. Runs on butane propane mix. I've had this 10 years or so. It's comes in a nice little bag, kind of meshy, and it's a brand is No Limits. I don't know the model number, but I think we're gonna give it eight or nine portability. Let's do 8.5. It's nice. It got the stand kind of folds out, so it is really, really nice. So let's do this. It might not be working. And if you're wondering if throwing a match out right now is a big deal, it's not. We just had 5 days of, not 5, but just about 4 days of frost, and everything's melting. Gonna pause the video. So, stove's not working. Not sure if it's because the fuel is bad or not. So I got a little lantern I'm going to try and see if this works. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So this is just a little lantern my mom got me for Christmas. Runs on butane. I figured it'd be good to throw it in the truck. Way you control the flame is by turning the actual globe. It increases the air. So tank's good. I gotta check this out. Not sure why that's not working. It didn't penetrate the tank. That's the only thing I can think of. Let that burn out. Alright, so my pocket stove's not working for some reason. It's not. I don't know why. I've used it in the past, no issues. So we're going to substitute it with Dad's pocket stove. This is Magellan Outdoors pocket stove. You get it at Academy. I think it's $20. And I know it works because he used it last week. And it's pretty nice, actually. I might have to get another one of these if my pocket stove is bad. But you see, folds up really nice. spread it out, spreads evenly. Extend those, extend that. Really nice. Don't know the model number off the top of my head, but don't matter. So I'm giving this a 9.5. Let's do 9. Nah, we're going to do a 9. For portability. Fits in little bag, no issue. Pocket stoves are pretty similar in that fashion, but the fuel tank is a lot smaller than the other one. You can see them together. So we're going to give this a 9. My No Limits pocket stove we gave an 8.5, so that's pretty cool. I love my little lantern, and definitely going to keep it. Alright. Thread is on there. Nice. And one thing I just noticed, it has a little little rubber seal right here, so when you're screwing on to the tank and you puncture the valve, it doesn't spray butane at you. So that's pretty nice. So I'm going to bet this one does it just about 3 minutes. Alright, we're going max setting. I think that's pretty good. Let's see, what's the temperature right now? 160. Alright, we're burning about 340. Right there. Let's get ready with. And let us begin. So, the Magellan, about 15 minutes, probably would have took 20 minutes in reality. It got to about 190 degrees and it stayed there for a couple minutes, so I didn't want to keep wasting fuel. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit, and we're going to move on to the next one. One other thing, this is a 5,000 BTU burner. The Coleman is a 10,000 BTU burner, hence why it took the Coleman 3 minutes. One other thing, I'm not sure how full this tank is. That might affect something, but don't know for sure. We're going to let this cool down, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Alright, so now we're on to our next one. This is a Coghlan's emergency folding stove. I know the shade and the shadows might mess this up a little bit. I'm sorry. Pretty good little stove. It's really, really cheap. It is only about 11 bucks. The Magellan pocket stove is about 20 bucks, I think. It's $17.99, and I think the fuel cartridge is about 17 bucks, 10 bucks, 17 bucks, whatever. These are just real emergency things. This one, unfortunately, seems to be broken a little bit. This part here is just popped off a little bit, so. But comes with the difference between this and the pocket stove and the single burner is this is fully self-contained. Comes with solid fuel blocks, and according to Coghlan's website, this should boil water in 30 minutes. Not 30 minutes, that'd be horrible. In 3 minutes with 2 tablets. But since this has an open bottom, we're going to set it up here on this, and let's see if we can Yeah. Be a little unstable, but I think we're going to be good. Might help if I get rid of that. So we're going to put 2 on there, and supposedly they're easy to light. I've never tried these. Got the pumpkin in there. All right. The 2 side by side. I get it. Well, let's try that. I think we just about got it. We burning? All right, we're burning. So not too hard to light. Worked better on the corner than it did some other places. I know it's hard to see that. It's putting out pretty good heat already. We should get what? We're going to put the stove on there. I know it's a little uneven just because of our surface here. We're going to add 10 seconds to the time. So this thing only weighs, how much does it weigh? 0.17 kilograms. You know, that's pretty easy. That's actually pretty easy, pretty small, pretty light. So we're at about 160 to 30 actual flame temperature. And let's see how long these little fuel tablets are supposed to last. Coghlan's makes a lot of good equipment. They've been around forever, and some of it's cheap, I'll admit that. We might have to put in one more. That's interesting smoke. It says about 5 to 7 minutes per tablet. It's non-toxic, odorless, smokeless. That's pretty true. One cup of water. I think we have just about a cup in there. Should boil in about 3 minutes. So, we'll see you in 3 minutes. So I moved in here to the shop to get away from the sun. Sorry about that last part of the video, but the Coghlan's emergency folding stove performed really well. Each one of those tablets. So that Coghlan's emergency folding stove performed really well. I was very impressed by it. And these emergency fuel, these solid fuel tablets is what they call them, I believe, were actually burned really hot. They burned up to 700 degrees individually. Actually, I think it was 750 was a max. It took about 5 minutes to boil that cup and a half of water, but pretty good considering. I would definitely keep that in my truck if I needed an emergency stove. So only downside was, like I said, the holes in the bottom of the stove itself. Whenever the tablets started burning and getting smaller and smaller, one fell through the hole. So if I might not be a big deal, it's an emergency, just do it. But if you're going to try and cook, I would try to cook with them if they're a little bit more durable. The next stove I'm going to show you is also a Coghlan's folding stove, but it's not an emergency one, it's a backpack one. And we're going to use a sterno fuel with that. This one might become my truck stove for the meantime. So this is it. Pretty nice. It weighs less than a pound. And so we're going to give this a 9 for portability, just because you have to have the fuel. The beauty of that other folding stove is the fuel could actually sit inside of it while it was folded up, but that's what we're going to do. So I looked it up. There's no name, no model number for this. It's just their folding stove. Try and do this to where y'all can see it. There we go. Kind of a nice, pretty nicely built. Does weigh just 1 pound exactly. You need to open it up. You open this door. Boom, bada boom. So I could use the Coghlan's solid fire briquettes or fuel, but we're going to use a sterno. Just do a little different test. I've actually never used sterno before. Got that gel going. Coghlan's does make their own gel fuel system like the sterno. It's $8 for a 2-pack. It's a little bigger. This is a little small. I don't have the big ones. Come on. Alright, it started to light up. Alright. We'll get ready. Close that up. There we go. So the lid's closed. That's pretty centered. We're going to center it up a little bit more. There we go. And begin. Start. One other thing about this stove and the Coghlan, the folding stove, the emergency stove, is you can burn other stuff in. I mean, I could burn these fuel tablets, burn just basic wood in there and get a little fire going. In an emergency, that'd be awesome. So we'll let that burn up and I'll let you know how long it takes. So sterno's not a good fuel source for boiling. It's really not. It's really a heat source and an emergency fuel source. We had it on in the stove for about 15 minutes, and it just barely reached 100 degrees. It could probably boil water, but it'd be 30 minutes, which is understandable. That sterno's not really meant for that. But the stove itself, the actual foldable stove, very impressed with. Probably going to use the solid fuel tablets, and that's going to be my emergency stove in my truck. I might not do that and just put a propane tank and put my single burner in there. We're just going to see. So that's about it for this video. Let's see which one was the best. The single burner Coleman, unfortunately, boiled water 3 minutes 35 seconds. It's portability a Ford because it's the biggest. It sits on almost 12 inches tall, completely assembled with a fuel tank. 1 pound bottle fuel source. I think they have some half-pound bottles, but I've never seen one. You could also do a Bernzomatic fuel tank. The propane tanks, they work on that as well, but it's kind of narrow. That one performed the best in the quickest time to boil water, and I want to take it backpacking probably, but small box, no issue. Regular camping, yeah. The Magellan Pocket Stove, boiling water took 15 minutes. It's only 5,000 BTUs, so it's a little bit on the small side for that, but it was very portable. Only weighed 3.2 ounces, so we're gonna give it a pass. It probably scores, in truth, the bottom three all tied in my opinion. The emergency folding stove from Coghlan's, portability 9.5. Fuel source stores inside the actual folded up stove, which is why it has the highest. In truth, I'd rate it a 10, but I can't rate anything a 10. A 10 just can't do that. It got really hot at 750 degrees. Weight, it's pretty light. I don't have it. It's 0.17 kilograms. I'm not converting that for y'all. The folding stove, just the last one, portability is a 9, maybe 8.5 really, because you have to have a separate fuel source separate from it because you can't fold it up inside the stove. And if you use the solid fuel tablets, 5 minutes for boiling time. That's the same as the folding stove. Weighs a pound by just the stove itself. So the emergency folding stove performed, I can't say performed the best because I could just swap out fuel sources for the other folding stove. So we're going to ignore that, but the emergency folding stove, not a multiple use item, could probably get 10 or 20 uses out of it. The other folding stove, I think I could get hundreds of uses out of it. All that being said, you could very easily find a pocket stove that performs 10,000 BTUs, no issue, and I'm sure there's better ones out there. This is just the best I had on hand. So that's going to be it for a video. I am thinking about doing an emergency preparedness series. If you think that's a good idea, comment. If not, like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell strangers. I'll see you next time.